Hello viewers, welcome to my channel All Things Spiritual. Hope you liked my last video on Om meditation. Today we will take a look at a recap on the Koshas that house the soul, and I talked about this last year also and would like to recap as to why the Vijnanamaya Kosha or the intellectual sheath may be so important in our spiritual development. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel if you like the video. The Koshas are the metaphorical layers that comprise the human body and the mind. They also house the soul. The meaning comes from the Upanishads, which are the ancient Vedic texts that informed Hinduism and many aspects of yoga philosophy. Kosha translates to a sheath in Sanskrit. According to the Vedic philosophy, the 5 sheaths provide a framework for the understanding of the innermost self or the Atman, which is Sanskrit for the spirit or the soul. So what are the Koshas? Yogic philosophy describes the physical body, the subtle body and the causal body as the 3 bodies that encompass the 5 koshas. Yogic theory posits that the human body and the life force energy or the breath or the prana is part of the physical body, while the mind and the intellect are included in the subtle body. The causal body is considered as the innermost body, which houses the self or the soul, which cycles through birth, death, rebirth and ultimately transcends these bodies to merge with the soul. The Annamaya Kosha is the outermost sheath comprised of the physical body layer, which includes the muscles, bones, skin and the organs. Anna in Sanskrit means food, which sustains the human body and keeps it functioning optimally. The Annamaya Kosha is often referred to as the physical body since it is the only kosha that is physically tangible. Pranamaya Kosha is the next sheath. This sheath is also known as the energy body or the life force sheath. In Sanskrit, prana means life force and Pranamaya refers to the life force energy within the Annamaya or the physical body. The Pranamaya is associated with the breath and flow of energy through the physical body. The next sheath is the Manomaya Kosha. This sheath is the mind or the mental sheath. It has to do with the thoughts and emotions and can be maintained and brought into balance through meditation. This is the main sheath that governs your thoughts, emotions, fantasies and is also responsible as to how you perceive the world around you. These are considered as the superficial layers of the Manomaya Kosha. Your mind gives rise to the Manomaya Kosha. The Vijnanamaya Kosha. The Vijnanamaya Kosha is the knowledge sheath. This kosha is comprised of your wisdom, intuition and the highest perception. When you are meditating and observing your inner world, the knowledge sheath that lies beyond your thinking mind, it stems from a deeper, more subtle layer of the self. This innate inner knowing is the higher self of the consciousness. When such wisdom is accessed, deeper insights could be revealed. Some teachers believe that any activity requiring total immersion such as playing an instrument, writing, painting is accessing the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The next layer is the Anandamaya Kosha, which is the innermost sheath that is also known as the bliss body. In Sanskrit, Anand means happiness and it represents the transcendental energy of creation and existence. Therefore, Anandamaya Kosha is synonymous with joy, love and peace. It is the total immersion with creation itself and is the deepest aspect of our true innermost self. Vijnanamaya Kosha or the fourth sheath is second to the last sheath. So it means that it is closer to the soul or the Atman, and since the Vijnanamaya Kosha is closer to the Atman as compared to the Manomaya Kosha, the light from the Atman falls onto the intelligence just like the sun illuminates the moon. Due to this, sometimes we believe and always think that our intelligence itself is our Atman, and if you live in such a confusion, there is a definite chance that you may not succeed in your life. The buddhi or the intellect is oblivious to the workings of the Atman. And if buddhi or the intellect feels that it is the only one, there the ego of the person rises to the next level. In a sense that every man has a ego, but such an ego becomes more fierce due to only recognizing his own individual self. And then once life continues under such an ego's guidance, then it is a failure for the soul from a spiritual standpoint. Due to such a high ego, there is no connection of the person with his own Atman, and such a person's life may turn out to be adverse, and Atman may sometimes shock the person by throwing him or her into such situations. Due to the person's high ego, the person may, for example, encounter a sudden accident and also lose their life in the process. So you see, it was never the buddhi or the intellect, but it was always the Atman that was running the show. It has the power also to stop things that are supposed to happen and may swing things in a direction the ego may not want it to happen. So the reins were always in the hands of the Atman. The Atman is our own God, and those who live their life by being egoistic get hit with adverse situations, and those who live their lives by being friendly through their own selves or their Atman would end up having a calm and peaceful life despite adverse conditions occurring around them. Such people have total and complete reliance on their Atman or the power that runs the universe. The Vijnanamaya Kosha is what gives rise to the intellect, and if you feel that this is the Atman, then you are probably disillusioned and you haven't understood spirituality. Since the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the closest to the Atman at the fourth sheath, it also means that it gets the most illumination from the Atman compared to the mind or the Manomaya Kosha, which is the next layer of the onion peel in the subtle layers of the human body. So the outcome is that if you use your intellect to elevate your own ego, then you progress downwards into being an animal instead of progressing upwards to your Atman or soul. And if the progress is inwards, then you could become a saint, and only saints know the true nature of God. They become so humble, and on the flip side, a regular person may take a while to get humble, as it takes a long time for them to break their own ego. Say for example, if a person is a rationalist, he might have a problem with devotion, and the feelings of surrender would be far difficult for such a person to achieve. This is due to them relying on the understanding of the outcomes of the worldly existence. It also develops a certain fear unto them, due to the reason being that not all worldly outcomes favor the individual. Saints, on the other hand, don't have any fear for any kind of adversity. For example, Sai Baba wasn't scared of a gang of dacoits that approached him. People, therefore, who depend on their intelligence get scared very easily. It's due to their absolute reliance on the intelligence and the mind. This is because buddhi can only know certain things of the present, but it always wishes and desires to know the future. But the Atman knows it all, and it is able to cross the 3 bounds of time and is self-existing, self-manifesting. Such is a non-human-like quality which has knowledge in itself, and knowledge flows through such an entity. For a common man, therefore, it becomes very tough to understand spirituality, because he thinks that he can get to know spirituality through his intelligence and rationality, and the intelligence that he thinks which is so great within him won't ever get to know what the soul or the Atman is like. The only way, therefore, to get to know the Atman is through humility and surrender. Imagine the great vastness of the Almighty and bowing down and realizing how minute we are compared to the one that runs the universe. As getting to know the Atman for the buddhi is a difficult task as it is, not attempting to know our real self would land us into a deeper well of confusion and doubt, and you may be bonded into being eccentric rather than being fearless in society. Since the person is just looking at his own body, fear then develops due to worries about the body and the future, and the person will not be able to identify what lies beyond his or her senses and what is the entity that transcends them. Just as the sun rays hit the water, and as the water moves, moves, the image of the sun gets distorted. In a similar way, once the ego rises, it distorts the Atman's qualities. Since saints are always one with their souls, they do not have such incessant thoughts and they are peaceful and silent in their behaviors. What are your thoughts about the Koshas? Have you ever experienced your Annamaya Kosha anytime? Please do let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next week with a new video.